Welcome back to SHIB Planet. Shiba Inu is massively upgrading its technology from just a regular ERC20 token with a DEX and some key partnerships to a whole ecosystem which is built directly on top of its very own custom Layer 2 blockchain solution, Shibarium. And a key component of this Shibarium blockchain is how fundamentally at each transaction level the Shiba Inu token will be burnt. And this has been one of the most highly requested features, and it promises to increase the pace at which Shiba Inu's token supply will be reduced and fundamentally increase its price over time. And so today we're going to explore exactly how Shibarium is going to burn Shiba Inu tokens. And as we know, recently we got a massive update which explains some of the foundations of the Shibarium network, including validator and delegator requirement. But probably the most anticipated feature of the network will be the fact that each and every transaction which occurs on Shibarium will burn Shiba Inu tokens. So today I'm going to explain how this should work, at least according to community expectations. But I have to admit, there is a particular method that, if it turns out to be true, I'm definitely not looking forward to. There was some wording in the recent blog post which just wasn't sitting right with me. And if this interpretation turns out to be true, I'm pretty sure the community might be disappointed, even though it actually would burn SHIB. But there is a way to turn things around if this is the case. Alright guys, let me break this down for you. Welcome back to SHIB Planet, everyone. This is Ace. There are currently 549 trillion tokens of Shiba Inu tokens which are currently in circulation, and Shibarium is the best chance for this to be reduced. So let's break down some of the options which we currently have. Alright, let's get right to it. Okay, let's get right to the point. The recent Shibarium announcement, it came from a blog entitled Introduction to Shibarium, and the specific section about burns is titled Introducing SHIB Burn Mechanics to Shibarium. And now bear with me as I read some of the specifics, because we're going to put some of these words to the test and test out if it's really going to be worth the hype. Part of the blog reads as follows. We confirm that all transactions on the network will have an implicit burn amount for SHIB token, and this will operate within the base gas fee of these transactions being utilized to burn SHIB, and that's pretty much what we'd expect. It goes on to say that this will occur every time a transaction is made on the network. And further on it says that burning SHIB tokens per transaction will be reflected in the token supply, as we hope it will have a significant impact on the circulating amount of SHIB supply over time. And then they go on to talk a little bit about the burn portal. And there you have it. Shiba Inu will finally have a blockchain where all the fundamental activities and developments of the ecosystem can be measured on. And this is really good news because Shiba Inu, the token and the brand, is already massively popular. In fact, it's so popular that Shiba Inu has single-handedly spawned a plethora of other Inu projects, some of which are legitimate and some of which are sketchy at best. For example, if you go to CoinMarketCap and you just type in Inu, you'll see hundreds of projects which are called Inu, various Inu, and you'll see at least 100 of them, and they pretty much try and copy and emulate the success of Shiba Inu. And you can often read some of their dynamics, and they often try become Shiba Inu killers, at least according to their descriptions. But there is a good side to all of this. Shibarium is going to allow for the Shiba Inu platform to become truly decentralized. And now, just like on Ethereum or Polygon, anyone can build any project directly on Shibarium. However, this time Shiba Inu will directly benefit from all the network activity which will take place on Shibarium, and the biggest beneficiaries will be the ecosystem tokens of Bone and SHIB. Bone for the gas fees and Shiba Inu token for the passive burn. Now let's take a look at what the most immediate impact of Shibarium is going to be. As we know, the core utility of Shiba Inu at the moment is its decentralized exchange ShibaSwap, and contrary to popular belief, this DEX actually performs quite well compared to other Ethereum-based DEXs, with a TVL of currently 22 million and some other features which I'll show you just now. For example, if you go to CoinMarketCap and you look at this list of DEXs, ShibaSwap is currently ranked number 21. And if you look at the statistics, it currently, in comparison to the others, it's actually up 465% in trading volume in comparison with a lot of the others. And if you've watched this channel for some time, you know that ShibaSwap has even reached the #1 position, especially on days of very high demand. But I want to draw your attention to this. The current volume on ShibaSwap is currently at roughly $13 million over the past 24 hours. And this number, it typically hovers between 10 and about $25 million in volume per day. But as you know, ShibaSwap is slated to be relaunched as ShibaSwap 2.0 at the same time which Shibarium launches, and that means that all the network activity will now be on layer 2, and that all that volume which I just showed you will carry implicit burns to the Shiba Inu token. So let's factor in a realistic burn percentage. Most people won't tell you this because they'll say crazy percentages like burn 5% of all transactions, for example, and that might make really good YouTube videos, but I personally haven't been comfortable with making clickbait amounts like that. The truth is, ShibaSwap has to remain competitive as a DEX, otherwise no one is going to use it. For example, even me myself, as a big Shiba Inu fan, I don't always use ShibaSwap because sometimes other DEXs, they have better rates for swaps. But let's do a calculation. For example, on the macro level, that $13 million which I was talking about, it's going to attract a liquidity fee of roughly 0.03%. So I'm just going to enter $13 million over here and multiply it by, let me just do that here. And I'm going to multiply that by 0.003%. And that's pretty much one of the standard rates across most DEXs like Uniswap and SushiSwap. And that 39k represents the liquidity which has been earned by liquidity providers just from today's volume so far. And then there's gas fees on top of that. And if I was to take this example a little bit further, for example, if you swap $1,000 at the moment right now, there's going to be a liquidity fee of about $3 at the moment. And that happens whether you use SushiSwap or Uniswap and any other Ethereum-based DEXs at the moment. And then on top of that, you'll pay roughly $10 in gas fees. So it'll end up being like a total of $113. So pretty much you'll have about $13 in total fees, which you'll pay for an Ethereum swap. And just to confirm that, if you go to crypto.com, it actually shows you that on Uniswap, the current gas fees is roughly $13.70 if you use Uniswap to do any of your swaps. And that's pretty standard at the moment, but we do know that layer 2 fees are significantly cheaper. For example, in my previous video, I showed you that the average layer 2 swap fee is less than $1, and it's sometimes even less than a cent. So these are the various other L2s out there, and the cost to swap transactions is significantly less than $1, up to about 40 cents, and it looks like they average, between 12 cents, 26 cents, 16 cents, just to show you a few of them. The Shiba Inu team now has to factor in a rate which will still be comparable with other layer 2s just to be competitive, but also include a burning percentage. And I believe that $1,000 will still have a fee of $3 for the liquidity fee, because liquidity providers will still need an incentive regardless of what DEX they're operating on. And then factoring in a maximum burn amount of, let's just say $1, which I think is well on the upper end, would be looking at you'd probably be paying about $4 in fees, which sounds good so far, but I don't think the SHIB army would be happy with such a small burn rate, because out of that $1 would be coming out the burn rate which would be for Shiba Inu. So I think that we should at least have the same burn percentage as the liquidity provider fee, meaning that there'll be a total of, I think I'll just add about 2 so that it equals the liquidity amount, so that there should be a total of probably of about $6 paid for a $1,000 swap. And $6 is actually pretty good compared to the $13 on Uniswap. And this might attract more liquidity to ShibaSwap as people begin to move from ShibaSwap to Uniswap, especially during massive bull runs where gas fees, from you guys who were in the last bull run, you know that gas fees run between $50 and $100. So $6 is going to sound like an absolute gem in my opinion. And so at face value, today's $13 million in volume would burn roughly $39,000 worth of SHIB, which is roughly about 3.2 billion SHIB tokens burnt within a day. And if you annualize it by multiplying that by 365 days, that is a little over 1 trillion Shiba Inu tokens burnt in a year. But that's just under bear market conditions, which we currently sort of have. And it might even reach up to 20 trillion in a year if we move to a bullish macro year. And I do expect those sort of figures as we inch closer to the Bitcoin halving next year and the year beyond. And before you get discouraged, remember that's just for token swaps on Shibarium. I haven't even mentioned any other activities like metaverse, blockchain gaming, and any additional NFTs which will inevitably get minted, things like the Shiboshis, as well as any trade related activity which might come from the treat token, especially if we have a treat related liquidity event. And let's not forget that a decentralized Shibarium means that all projects will also build their own dApps and games and marketplaces all on Shibarium, contributing to the transaction burns. So I personally foresee that the first burns on Shibarium will seem like trickles before they reach mass adoption. And that's going to take time, especially where we have projects like Wellies, the decentralized fast food chain. They're only starting to expand their stores this year, and it's probably going to take a while until they are on every continent. Anyway, before I go on, there is something which has been bothering me. Maybe you guys can help me explain it in the comment section. The word which I'm uncomfortable with here is burn portal. For example, as I read before, it says here that this will operate within the base gas fee of these transactions being utilized to burn SHIB, and then I highlighted here through our renewed burn portal. And I think later on in the passage it says that we will release information and broadcast our renewed burn portal and how it is to operate with Shibarium in a future blog post. Now, most of you know that I have used the burn portal and I've also encouraged it, and I think it was a really good idea up until we had Shibarium. And now that we have Shibarium, I'm struggling to understand why we need it again. Now, this is how the burn portal currently works. You go to ShibaSwap, you find the link for the burn portal, and then you take your own SHIB tokens and then you connect your wallet, and then through that you'll manually burn them through this portal in exchange for Ryoshi Vision tokens. And I do understand that that Ryoshi Vision reward mechanism is probably been paused at the moment, and whilst we wait for the Shibarium upgrade. But that's the current burn portal at the moment. But my question is, according to the blog, if the implied burn percentage is going to be settled at the transaction level, what role does the burn portal need to have in this process? For example, my understanding is people, in an example, will be having fun on the metaverse, and I mean people who are completely new to crypto, and they may be only interested in a metaverse experience, for example, and if they buy something like a skin on the metaverse, that transaction is going to attract a gas fee. But I'm trying to understand, why would they even need to find a burn portal to execute a burn? Because to be honest, most people are in SHIB for the utility, which is going to come from things like games, etc. But I just can't see where a burn portal would fit in. Maybe you guys can help me explain that to me in the comment section. Especially since most people at the moment don't even use the current burn portal. Because I do believe people are actually waiting for Shibarium to do the heavy lifting through utility and not specifically to do it themselves. But maybe you guys can explain that to me. Okay, check this out. I used ChatGPT and I entered the passage from the blog about the burns into the ChatGPT, and then I asked it to give me an answer on an explanation at least on how this could work. And I also made sure that I won't try and guide the AI, because I wanted it to give me an explanation in its own understanding. So if you like, you can just pause the screen and read my initial prompts to the AI and have a read of its initial response. And then as I queried it further, this is what I said. So I said, what do they mean by will have an implicit burn amount? Does that mean that I need to have both tokens in my wallet to execute a transaction? And then I just gave it some further guidance that they're both ERC20 tokens, because I pretty much wanted it to, well, I'll show you in a second. And it goes on to say that the implicit burn amount means that the burn of SHIB tokens is an inherent part of the transaction process on the Shibarium L2 network. When you execute a transaction on the network, a certain percentage of the SHIB tokens used as part of the gas fees will be automatically burned as part of the transaction, and that this means that you would need to have both Bone and SHIB tokens in your wallet to execute a transaction on the Shibarium L2 network. The Bone token will be used primarily as the primary token, and you can read the rest for yourself. Anyway, so I carried on and I said that because I wasn't happy with that answer, because it didn't explain what I wanted it to, but I went on to say that I think that this is impractical to have 2 tokens just to make a transaction. Show me another potential meaning of how it could work, because I wanted to push it further. And then this is where it gave an interesting answer. It said another potential way the burn mechanism could work is that the network could have a burn pool where users can deposit their SHIB tokens to be burnt. And I didn't prompt it to say burn portal at all. It used its own word, burn pool, which it extrapolated from that passage which I had entered it before from the blog. And it goes on to say that in this scenario, users would only need to hold Bone tokens in their wallets to execute transactions on the network, which is fair. And it says that the burn pool would function as a separate entity from the transactions, and users could deposit their SHIB tokens into at their own discretion. And that sounds a lot to me that like the current burn portal system which we have, which not a lot of people currently use. And that's where I was having an issue with. So if you guys want to explain that to me, let me know. It says, it goes on to say that when a user wants to execute a transaction on the network, it says the network would automatically take a percentage of the SHIB tokens from the burn pool as the implicit burn amount, instead of taking a percentage from the user's personal wallet. And this is just ChatGPT's interpretation. It by no means means that this is what it's ultimately going to mean, but I just wanted to draw people's attention to what some of the wording could potentially mean. And anyway, I went on to stretch it a little bit further because I wanted to see a scenario where we would only use the Bone token, because I know that's pretty much possible because they're all ERC20 tokens. So there should be a scenario where only a portion of the Bone token gets converted into SHIB tokens and gets burnt. And its response said that yes, there could be another way the burn mechanism could work where only Bone tokens are required for transaction. It says one possibility is that the network could have a built-in mechanism for automatically converting a portion of Bone tokens used in a transaction into SHIB tokens, which would be burnt. And this would allow users to only hold Bone tokens in their wallets and still participate in the burn mechanism, as the conversion and burn process would happen automatically as part of the transaction. I'll let you read the rest for yourself. It's quite interesting, and personally this is the explanation which I would like to see implemented, as that one is the one which makes more sense to me. And I went further to try and see if it could generate some code for this. I do know a little bit about coding, so I wanted to actually write some simple code to see if this can be entered into a DEX, for example, for that conversion to take place. And it actually did. It popped out some code. It's very simplified code, so you can have a look at that if you're into that sort of thing. And that is pretty much what I wanted to discuss, guys, about the much anticipated burn features. So let me know what you guys think, and even though I'm massively bullish on Shiba Inu, I still like to present both sides, especially if I think that there's something that the community might find noteworthy. I do still hope that it's going to be hold one token which gets automatically burned in the background, but time will tell. I'm also not a big fan of those some predictions say that we should burn 5% per transaction, because if you look at it from a business perspective, that doesn't make sense. Because for anyone who swaps $1,000, for example, if they get charged 5%, you're looking at $50 for a transaction, which is even higher than current L1 fees. So that's why I mean those crazy percentages don't make business sense, and that's what I wanted to show you for today, guys. But in the long term, those small, relatively small percentages which are suggesting, I do think that they'll reap benefits in the long term. For example, this is an all-time chart of ShibaSwap, and we do see that we used to have daily amounts of up to around 40 million, 50 million per per day, and during peak bull market it even got to, I think, even close to half a billion, in volume per day. And I do think that as crypto adoption grows, this will also grow, and it'll increase our burn rates per day. And if you guys like the way I cover the Shiba Inu ecosystem, the best way you can continue to support this channel is by simply hitting the like button and also leaving a comment. Those two actions will help share quality Shiba Inu to the community. And once again, thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for watching, everyone. This is Ace. Peace.